Hi, mystery writers. Welcome to Write a Killer Mystery. I'm Zara Altair. Today we're going to talk about fun in writing and what that means for your story. But first, I want to thank my wonderful patrons who support Write a Killer Mystery and my mystery writing. So thank you to all my patrons, and if you'd like to support Write a Killer Mystery, there's a link in the description below. All right, so fun in story writing. I want to share a quote from John Truby. The storyteller is first and foremost someone who plays. And that's so important, is playing with your story, because if you ever sit staring at a blank page and the blinking cursor waiting for the story to come, you're outside of your play. So when your life is crowded with activities and you only have precious moments of time to write, you don't want to waste your time staring at a blank page. You want to bring some fun into your writing. So the same day that I started reading John Truby's The Anatomy of Story, I watched a Sisters in Crime sponsored conversation with Walter Mosley and Lou Berney, two writers, and the official topic was creating characters. But the word that kept popping up in the conversation was fun. It was the fun of storytelling, and both writers talked about having fun. And I know when I am interviewed, I talk about the fun of storytelling. So storytelling is work. You want to approach your writing with a sense of play at the same time, because you want to recapture that spark that started you on your writing novel journey. When you feel stuck, get going by uniting yourself with the idea that sparked your story. Sometimes we get trapped in the craft of it all, in where does this fit in the plot, or do I have my turn moment in the scene, and things like that. But I think when you get into your story, you want to really connect with that spark, with that fun, with that idea of play, that you're playing. This is all coming out of your imagination. So you want to connect with that play and not put it aside. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So when storytelling isn't your main source of income, making time for writing among work and family and friends and pets and what other activities you have, it can be challenging. And the last thing you want to do is squander that time sitting staring at a blank page. So I thought I'd put together several tricks that can help you connect right away with your writing, so you're not wasting time just staring at that blank screen. One thing that many writers do to help switch into the writing mode, because when you're sitting there and you get down for your writing time, you're disconnecting from all those outside forces like kids and family and all those things, and you want to focus on your writing. But sometimes it's hard to switch gears from whatever you were doing before you sat down for your writing time. So to help you kind of kickstart your writing, you can just free write for 5 minutes, just whatever comes into your head. You don't have to worry about sentences, syntax or punctuation or grammar, whether you have sentence fragments or run-on sentences. This is just whatever's in your head. But the idea is to write, and to write without stopping for 5 minutes. And it doesn't have to be about your story. It's whatever's in your head right at that moment, because the important thing is to be writing. So, and 5 minutes is usually enough time to flip on that writing switch in your brain. I know I have an artist friend who, when she would go into her studio, she would do a similar thing. She would just do 1 minute sketches for about 5 minutes. She'd do a sketch and then she'd do another sketch, and she called them artistic obscenities. That they weren't something that particularly that she was going to use. It was just to get her brain into the flow of drawing. So you can do the same thing with your writing. Get into the flow of writing. And once that 5 minutes are up, you're going to be in the writing mode, getting words down. So another thing to get you kick-started writing is your notes. And I highly suggest that you have a way of collecting notes. It can be blank 3x5 cards. It can be a notebook. It can be a recording device like your phone. Like when you wake up in the middle of the night with an idea, you make sure that you collect those notes. Then, when you get to your writing time, put those notes to use. You may have an idea for a dialogue exchange between your protagonist and another character, or you may have a key turning point in a scene, or a setting that's just perfect for a dramatic scene. So you can work these notes when it's time to write. And remember, you don't have to write your story in order. So, for instance, if you have a note for a dialogue idea and you're writing in Act 2, but that dialogue sequence happens in Act 3, go ahead, write that dialogue scene, because in the end, it's all going to come together. So don't worry about, wait, I'm not there yet. Just go ahead and write that scene because it's fresh in your mind. So use your notes to prompt your story writing. Now, one thing a lot of writers do, and myself included, is to begin with a previous writing session. So whatever you were writing yesterday, go through and read and make any little changes. You're not in an editing stage yet, so make any little changes that you see. But it brings you into the story, and you can keep going from where you left off. And one trick that some writers do is when they finish a writing session, they stop mid-sentence. So when they get back to their story, they have to finish that sentence and then keep writing. It's just a little mental trick to keep you writing and getting you into the story. The main thing I wanted to say today is to keep that fun in your writing. Bring that spark in. Use those notes that come to your brain at any time of the day. Not when you're in your writing session, but it's just something pops in. Capture those moments, and then when it's time to sit down and write, work on those sections of your story. So first of all, you want to give yourself permission to write. You don't just sit there. Sitting there staring at the blank page is self-defeating. So use these prompts to get you into that precious writing time as quickly as possible. You're writing your first draft, so everything doesn't need to be perfect. At this point, you're getting the story out, and the story is the fun part of writing. I mean, you know this, the fun part. So connect with your fun, connect with your story, give your brain the freedom to connect and the freedom to play with your story. And as you go, you'll finally come to the end of your story. I call it fun and done. You played with your story and now it's done. So I hope that helps you if you're struggling with um, sitting down in your precious writing time and spending time not writing. That what you want to do during your writing time is write, and that's it. So keep writing, keep your sessions flowing, have fun, play with your story, and keep writing. Okay, and then I just wanted to talk about, I just finished The Searcher, and on listening to The Searcher on Audible, and it's such a great way to get into a mystery story. Tana French is a really wonderful writer. I love the way her characters develop and get deeper and deeper and deeper, and this one particularly struck me. A very intriguing character, an ex-cop who ends up living in the countryside in Ireland and makes a friendship with a child. It's a very moving story, and um, anyway, I love listening to that story. If you haven't tried listening to stories with Audible, I really suggest that you give it a try. You can listen to these stories while you're doing other things. You can listen while you're driving. You can listen while you're doing chores around the house. You can listen while you're on a walk. And so if you haven't, Audible has a 30-day free trial, and give it a go. Um, yeah, I listen on Audible a lot. It helps me connect with a lot of stories. All right, thank you, and keep writing.